A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Sandegriff.
And we welcome you into Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Sandegriff, Casey Gaines in today for Mario Jerez and Taylor Sharp with you. About 15 minutes, we'll go to Austin, Texas. A kind of a rare scheduling game between LSU and Texas for a midweek game in the pre-conference. Tigers are in Austin tonight in what feels like the biggest game that they will have prior to the conference start of conference play, even though it is on a Tuesday night. So this one gets a little bit more attention than your regular garden variety midweek game. We'll get to that when we talk to Bill Franquez here in about 15 minutes. Dwayne Colucci at the bottom of the hour. We're getting close to March Madness. We got 1 week left of the regular season, then the conference tournaments, and then the big tournament. So we'll talk with Colucci about what's going on there. News that is broken here just in the last, hour or so, maybe even less than an hour, is that LSU apparently has ended their search for a special teams coach, but it comes with a little bit of a twist. John Jancic, who was on staff last year as an analyst, is going to be LSU's he's going to be the special teams coach, but he's also being hired as an outside linebackers coach. One of the things that we had heard after the season was that Matt House was in the market for somebody who could basically be a pass rush coach, somebody that could double with another role on the staff, but somebody that could really concentrate on the Tigers' pass rush. This is going to basically leave the special teams partially to Jancic, and it's going to probably leave a lot of the special teams work in the hands of the analysts on staff. So you have to look at this from a couple of different standpoints. Number one, do they need to improve the pass rush? Without question. Okay, that was one of the things. They did not have a ton of defensive line depth last year. They were not able to get into the type of rotations that they eventually want to get to. And, they did have one really good pass rusher in B.J. Ojolari. The rest of the guys on the defensive front, were not, and I'm not counting Harold Perkins in this. Perkins is he's a category unto himself. But that upfront pass rush, those edge pass rushers, they just didn't have as much of it. So one of the things House wanted to do was bring somebody in to upgrade that. Well, Jancic, who they know is in the building, is an easy fix for that. It does raise a question as to how much time he's going to devote to pass rush stuff and how much time he's going to devote to special team stuff. We've seen this work both ways. Sometimes you designate one special teams coach. That's what he does. That's his baby all day. And sometimes they divide it up amongst the staff. I've seen it work really well both ways. I've seen it fall apart both ways. So I'm not going to make any rash decisions on, hey, listen, this format works all the time, and this format never works. Pretty much the only thing I do with that is with offensive coordinators. One guy calls plays. And I was even wrong with that in 19 because two guys call plays, and that worked, okay? One off. Quarterback was pretty good. Receivers were pretty good. But for the most part, that's one where I'm like, nah, you got to have one coordinator. Special teams, I've seen it go in both directions. A little bit of a background on Jancic. He's originally from Michigan, 54 years old. He's coached multiple places in the Southeastern Conference. He was on Georgia's staff as a linebackers coach. He was the co-defensive coordinator there. He was at Cincinnati back in 2012, D.C. there. He was a D.C. at Tennessee for 3 years. That was 2013 to 2015. He's been on Kentucky staff as a consultant, LSU staff as a consultant. So this is not a young up-and-coming coach. This is a seasoned, experienced, been all over the place coach in the Southeastern Conference and other places. So We'll have a little bit more. Again, this just came down here within the last 20, 30 minutes. So we'll see how when Brian Kelly eventually addresses this, he'll tell us exactly how all of the assignments are going to work with special teams. But this is how they're deciding to do it. Is it a little bit risky? Yeah. When you spread the special teams assignments over multiple places, again, I've seen it work and I've seen it kind of blow up on them. So John Jancic, the new special teams / outside linebackers coach for LSU. You see what that saved me was from having the lead with the Pelicans. Pelicans last night, 101-93 loss to the Orlando Magic. The kind of game you just simply can't lose if you're the Pelicans. I understand Orlando has played better of late. This is a team that's 10 games below 500, is not really a contender in any way. They got some nice young players. Paolo Banchero is going to probably be the rookie of the year. They got a really nice nucleus moving forward, but right this second they are in no way a contender. And they came in and pretty much, they took it to you right from the beginning, and they led this thing damn near wire to wire. New Orleans, their lowest scoring output in over a year. They shot the ball horrendously poorly from three-point range. At 22, I'm not going to read stats to you. Look, they lost a game that they were favored to win, that they desperately needed to win. Don't have to tell you how bunched up the Western Conference standings are. Let me tell you the two things that I think are really pertinent out of last night. One of them is that listening to the radio broadcast of this with Ty Graffinini, and by the way, it was great to see John DeShazier back on the call last night. Wish him the best now that he has come back from his illness. But one of the things they constantly talked about was every time C.J. McCollum shot the ball, he held his thumb. And he shot 1 for 8 from three-point range. McCollum's a better shooter than that. He talked about it. We had the audio right before the All-Star break. Taylor helped me. Was it Mark Spears or Mark Stein? I get them all mixed up. It's Mark Spears, right? We had that audio.
Yeah, that's right.
Spears, not Stein. All right, Spears went down. He was in New Orleans for a week. He spent most of that time with C.J. McCollum, and what did he tell us? Well, C.J. McCollum's thumb hurts. It's something that probably they're going to have to look at in the offseason. Well, last night on the broadcast, Graff and the guy said, well, he's going for an MRI. I get real nervous whenever Pelicans go for tests on anything because the news is almost always bad. It's almost always, well, you know what? You're going to have to do this. McCollum over the last 5 games, and this is going back to a couple before the All-Star break, 0 for 5, 3 for 7, 3 for 5, one good game against Toronto shooting the ball, 1 for 9 and 1 for 8, 2 for his last 17 from three-point range. This is from a guy who is a career 40% shooter from three-point range, I think, somewhere in that area. And he's hurt. You can see it. When I got home and started watching the game from the show last night, started looking at it, he shoots the ball, he holds his thumb. He's shooting 2 for 17. He's going for an MRI, according to the broadcast last night. None of this is good. So that is the first thing that comes to mind is really pertinent out of last night's game is I wonder if there's something really, really wrong with C.J. McCollum. Isn't he going to be able to finish out the season? The second thing is that we retired the Vector Victor thing for the Lakers because the ping pong, for those that don't know, Victor Wembanyama is the 7'5" Frenchman who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. He is a generational talent. He's a terrific shooter and ball handler for somebody that big. He is, regardless of who gets the pick, going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. He will be one of the most anticipated debuts in the NBA in a long time. I would say it will be up there with LeBron's debut, Zion's debut, guys like that. Believe me, you'll get to know the name later on. But if you're not into that right now, that's why we're saying that. The Pelicans have the Lakers' first-round pick in a swap rate. Right now, there's exactly half a game difference between them. The Pelicans' pick may end up being higher than the Lakers' pick, rendering the swap moot. But then something else happened last night that said maybe, well, hang on, I'll hold the phone. LeBron James is now going to be out for several weeks. Several weeks is essentially the rest of the season. The Lakers don't have a whole bunch of games to play with here as far as getting into the playoffs. Now, what I saw in the game before the All-Star break with the new remodeled lineup, now that they have Malik Beasley in to shoot and Jared Vanderbilt, who has been a rebounding machine since he got there, and a point guard that, they feel much more comfortable with, the new lineup looked fantastic. And Davis was healthy. James was healthy. James isn't healthy anymore. That could sink the Lakers once and for all. Because before that, I'll be honest with you, I thought that the Lakers were going to zoom into the play-in, if not the playoffs, and be a team that really nobody wanted to see. But if LeBron James is going to miss 3 or 4 weeks, then that's out the window. So the two biggest things out of last night, not really the game as much as that stunk, it was that C.J. McCollum really looks hurt, going for an MRI, and LeBron James is now going to be out for several weeks. We did hear one thing from Willie Green. This was the head coach on the loss to the Magic following last night's game.
The game comes down to execution and limiting mistakes. We had a couple turnovers to start the fourth quarter, but I thought the first order of business for us playing harder, playing more together was there. And, it's just a tough loss on our home floor. I thought the guys fought, and they feel awful about it. And this is a part of the NBA season. You have moments where you're just trying to find your rhythm and confidence, and that's kind of where we are.
True enough, ball's just not going in the bucket. Your best shooters. McCollum is one of your best shooters. He was 1 for 8. Trey Murphy is one of the best shooters, for the first, 50 games of the season anyway, was one of the best shooters in the league. He was brushing up on 50, 40, 90, which doesn't happen very often. He was 1 for 4 from three-point range. And Brandon Ingram, who doesn't shoot a ton of these things and is carrying so much of the offensive load right now, was 2 for 7 last night. 6 for 27 from three-point range. You're not going to get there. All right, we'll take a break. We'll talk LSU baseball when we come back. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off.
Charles Hanny. Join us for the Tuesday edition of Hanny Time. We'll go to Austin, Texas, get a preview on the Tigers and the Longhorns. Plus, Dwayne Colucci joins us from Las Vegas. Hanny Time, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A little bit more news out of LSU football, and that is that they are expected to, this is AYS Sports, I think was first with this, and give credit, that Bob Diaco is going to be coming in as an analyst. He is, if the name is familiar to you, he was a former Notre Dame defensive coordinator. He was the head coach at UConn from 2014 to 2016. He was most recently with, he was with the New Jersey Generals, USFL. He was at Purdue is in the COVID year 2020. He spent some time at Louisiana Tech as a defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. Another long experienced coach that will be joining the staff. Most recently, defensive line coach for the New Jersey Generals. All right, tonight, LSU baseball on the road at Texas. We bring in the dean of sports information directors in SEC baseball and probably in college baseball, and my good friend for a long time, broadcast partner for a while, quite a long time, Bill Franquez. Bill, great to have you back on the show. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Charlie, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be with you guys. Everything's going pretty well here in Austin. It's very warm, which is nice. It was cold in Round Rock to start the weekend, but the temperatures have gotten warmer since we've been here in Central Texas, and expecting a high of about 90 degrees today, and game time temps should be in the 70s. So it should be a nice, pleasant evening for LSU Texas at Dish-Hawk Field.
This is I brought you on to kind of give the historical perspective on this first, because this is an unusual kind of scheduling thing. Not that they are going over to Texas for a tournament. They've done that a lot. But right. That they play at a school of the magnitude of the University of Texas in a midweek game. So just kind of how this game came about and how it fit into the schedule for Jay Johnson.
Yeah, I think Jay, I won't call it an afterthought. I don't think that's the right term, but Jay sort of, in looking at the schedule, realized, hey, since we're going to be in Round Rock for a tournament that LSU had committed to back when Paul Maneri was the head coach, and Jay said, since we're there, why don't we see if we can play Texas on the way home?
Yeah.
Because he feels like, as he stated yesterday, Charlie, after tonight, 18 of LSU's next 21 games are at home. So he feels like they need more experience on the road, and this is obviously a great road venue and a great challenge for a very young LSU team. There are, of course, as you know, there are several veterans sprinkled in, but a lot of guys who are counting on this year who have never played at this level before, and for them to be exposed to this type of environment that they will tonight, I think will be very helpful to them once we start SEC play. So tonight's our first true road game, and as I said, it'll be the only road game other than the trip to Texas A&M in a couple of weeks that LSU will experience in quite a while. He thought it was a great idea to come here to Austin, play a great opponent in the University of Texas. And I think no matter the outcome of the game, I think it'll be beneficial to the players.
No, I absolutely love the idea. And I'm trying to imagine what the box would be like on a February Tuesday if Texas were coming to play here. And my guess is that the stadium would be pretty close to full. And I would imagine it's going to be like that tonight in Austin.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think there's a lot of anticipation for this game here. We're hopeful to see a lot of LSU fans. Of course, we had a great following in Round Rock. A lot of folks have returned home because they have to go back to work, but hopefully there'll be some fans who live in this area who will come out and support the team. But, yeah, I think we'll have a huge crowd tonight. Texas has not gotten off to a great start this year, and that was expected. Last year, Texas entered the season where LSU is right now. Texas was the preseason number one. They had so much talent returning. Guys who had been to Omaha in 2021 were back. And, of course, Texas went to Omaha again last season. But most of their lineup has moved on to pro baseball. So it's a very new team this year, and they've gotten off to a slow start. They're 3-4, but they've played a pretty tough schedule. They've played Arkansas, they've played Vanderbilt, they've played Missouri, 3 SEC schools already. And they've also played some non-conference games against Indiana and against A&M Corpus Christi. So offensively, they're struggling, but, Charlie, as you know, it's Texas, and they're the elite in college baseball, and they're going to have a very talented club no matter what their record indicates.
Thatcher Hurd was announced this morning as a starting pitcher. This is something we expected, but Jay Johnson confirmed that for us this morning. Bill, he came from UCLA. He had terrific numbers before back injury sidelined him last year. And then in his LSU debut last week, got roughed up a little bit by Southern.
Yeah.
And Jay Johnson talked about it after the game. He says, this is the first time this guy's pitched in front of fans. I think he was serious. He was joking, but he was serious. So you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, well, of course, Charlie, you'll remember LSU played at UCLA in a regional back in 2010, and the facility, to be kind, left a lot to be desired. It was a very small stadium, and even at that regional, it certainly wasn't overflowing with fans. So, yeah, I can understand what Jay is saying, that in a normal season at UCLA, you're going to see you're only going to pitch in front of a few hundred people. So Thatcher certainly has advanced to a new level in terms of baseball environment. And, he had a rough day against Southern. And credit to Southern. Chris Crenshaw, the coach there, of course, has done a magnificent job. Those guys can play. And they had a great plan against Thatcher. They basically they knew he had a great mid-90s fastball, and they just kind of went the other way with it. They stayed short and compact with their swings and had hit several balls the opposite way and had 4 runs on 6 hits in 2 innings against him. So it was a rough debut for Thatcher Hurd, but this is an opportunity to reestablish himself to where he was last year at UCLA before he suffered that injury. So we're definitely looking forward to it because, as you know, going in, Hurd's a guy that Jay thinks has potential to be in the weekend rotation once SEC play starts. So he can make a big step toward that goal by pitching well tonight.
Another guy that we expect is going to be a mainstay for LSU on the weekends, whether it be as a starter or a reliever, is Christian Little, and I think he's looked fantastic Bill, so far, and pretty good chance we could see him tonight, yes?
I think so. Yes, I think so. Jay said after Sunday's win over Sam Houston, he's really pleased with how the pitching sets up for tonight. I think we have a lot of arms available, Christian Little certainly being prominent among those. Ty Floyd would be ready in relief. A pitcher who didn't work in Round Rock is the lefty Nate Ackenhausen, and Ackenhausen is going to be very prominent in the Tigers' relief plans throughout this season. So I think having Little, Ackenhausen, and Floyd available in relief of Thatcher Hurd it certainly does benefit LSU tonight. So I think from a pitching standpoint, Tigers are in pretty good shape.
LeBaron Johnson, I believe, is a scheduled starter for University of Texas. What do you know about him?
Yeah, it's one of those guys, the huge upside. Very highly recruited out of high school. Certainly a future professional prospect. Big, prototypical big, hard throwing right-hander, great frame. The scouts love him. Again, I understand there's going to be, as I'm sure there are at most Texas games, and of course for a Texas LSU game, there are going to be numerous scouts here tonight, and they're going to be taking a look at LeBaron Johnson. He's that highly regarded by the major league clubs. He's kind of had mixed results so far this year. His numbers don't jump out at you, but Jay has said that Johnson, along with several other Texas pitchers, are extremely talented, and I'm sure he will provide a challenge to LSU's hitters. Hopefully the confidence the Tigers gained from Sunday's big win over Sam Houston will continue tonight at the plate against Johnson.
LSU's been able to work out at UT the last couple of days. We were happy to see Tommy White get back in the lineup as a DH this weekend.
Yeah.
Bill, has he been able to take infield in these last couple of workouts?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say he took infield yesterday, Charlie. He did throw the ball a little bit. He was working with our trainer, Josh Walker. He and Josh were kind of tossing a little bit back and forth, and it seemed to go pretty well. Now, I don't. My feeling is that we won't see Tommy at third base tonight. I don't think he's quite ready yet, where that shoulder's 100%, where they feel like he can throw with the authority that he needs. But so we may see that similar lineup tonight with White DHing, Jared Jones at first, and Ben DePaul playing third and Trey Morgan playing left. That's the feeling that I have, is that White's not quite there yet. But, once he gets back to where he needs to be, I think he'll make a big impact upon our lineup.
Bill, before we let you go, there's been pre-conference trips before. The Tigers have gone to Houston for a few days. I can even remember a couple of trips out to the West Coast, going back a little ways now. But this team has basically spent a week in Texas in February. I can't recall anything like that. I mean, this is team bonding. This is everybody, in close quarters. What's the trip been like? I mean, we've been able to watch the baseball, but you've been on the trip. These guys basically are taking a field trip for a week to Texas to bond, I guess.
Right. Charlie, I will say this, and Jay stressed this on Sunday. The Carbach Round Rock Classic was an extremely well-run event, and you could tell they were very welcoming. They wanted the teams in their event, and they had a setup at the hotel where the boys had an area with video games and ping pong table, and so they could spend a lot of time at the hotel, as you said, in that team bond, in those team bonding experiences. So I think they really enjoyed that experience. It was a first-class tournament. And, of course, here at Texas, we're playing at one of the iconic venues in college baseball. So, I think overall it's been a very good experience. Jay, as you know, is so detailed and so structured. There are certain times where the players have free time. There's also a lot of study hall time. There's time where they go through video meetings. There are times when they go through visualization and breathing exercises. So every minute of their time is pretty much accounted for. But I think it's been a very beneficial experience. And again, tonight, no matter win or lose, I think just playing in this environment is going to help the Tigers once they enter SEC play.
Teams don't have to like each other. The players and teams don't have to like each other to win, but it sure does help. It's a lot more. It's a lot easier road to travel. Bill, we always appreciate it, man. We'll catch up with you again real soon. Have a great call tonight and a safe trip back.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Charlie. See y'all soon.
Bill Franquez from LSU baseball. I was going back. About the only thing that comes close to the magnitude of this game. And when I say magnitude, listen, guys, I'm just talking about, hey, listen, they're playing a team that, one of the true blue bloods of college baseball. This is different than playing McNeese on a Tuesday. There's just not very many games like this. One year, it was either the first or the second year of the Wally Pontiff Classic. Rice came in to play back when Wayne Graham was coaching Rice, and Rice was a monster. That program has completely fallen off the cliff since he retired. But Rice came in to play LSU at Zephyr Field because the last team Wally Pontiff played against at LSU was Rice in the Super Regional in 2002. So Rice came in for either the first or second one. That's what the only one I can remember of this kind of magnitude that LSU's played in the last 2 decades for sure. We'll take a break. Come back. Dwayne Colucci is with us as we come down the stretch in college basketball. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny time.
Big Mike's, man, listen, the jitterbug classes are still going on out there. So, if you didn't get it the first week, you didn't get it the second week, or maybe you've been there and you're getting a little bit better. More jitterbug classes coming up this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then they'll put a live DJ on following that. So it's a fun time on Thursday night. Saturday, live music from Titanium Rain. There's always live music every weekend at Big Mike's. Hot ball crawfish now 7 days a week. They come out at 11 o'clock every morning. And ball shrimp are more what you prefer. Monday night is all you can eat boiled shrimp. Happy hour drink prices from 3 until 7 Monday through Friday and all day on Sunday. You want to hang out and watch sports, basketball, baseball, NASCAR. You can do it at Big Mike's and enjoy happy hour drink prices all day on Sunday. Part of the heart of Denham Springs with the Denham Springs Hall of Fame in the front of the restaurant. Big Mike's on Aspen. We're kind of a big deal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hanny Time, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them. Because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. LSU, Texas from Austin will preview the game. Scouting Combine gets underway in Indy and will recap Pels and Magic. Join us Tuesday 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Draft Combine starts on Thursday. with the defensive lineman. Hannycast today, the podcast is all of the pre-combine information on the LSU guys, where everybody's graded out going into the combine and how they can help themselves. It's a big combine year last year for LSU. We do a comparison on that. Pretty much everybody that went to the combine last year for LSU upped their draft grade, and some of them pretty significantly so. We'll see if this year follows suit. That's the Handycast, wherever you get podcasts, and at 1045ESPN.com. Let's go out to Las Vegas now. Dwayne Colucci, our man out at the South Point and the Rampart. Colucci, how you doing, man?
Doing good, Charlie. How about yourself? You ready for this combine or what?
The combine is not something we were going to do on the show. I know you're not a combine guy. I don't watch the combine, but the information that comes out of it is interesting. I'm kind of a draft nerd. I like the NFL draft. It's one of my, it's one of those events that I've always liked. So I probably put more time into it than I need to, but I like that kind of stuff. I like the idea of team building and how the different ways you can do it. So, we're looking at the LSU guys today on the podcast. But with you, I want to talk about buzzer beaters. Man, this past weekend in college basketball, whether it be Arizona State, whether it be Michigan on Sunday, the Iowa women's game came down to a last-second shot. This was about as exciting a weekend in college basketball in the regular season as you're going to get.
Yeah, definitely. And even the men's there wasn't Michigan State and Iowa. That came down and went into overtime. So, yeah, you had so many different games that were decided by buzzer beaters. And what you're seeing is the even landscape, Charlie. I keep talking about this, where there is no standout team. So now what you have, everybody scrambling to try and figure out who that dark horse is, who's going to make some noise going into the tournament, who's going to possibly win their conference tournament. Definitely KenPom still has Houston right on top there, but, you have a lot of other teams that could make noise. UCLA is definitely, very marketable right now at the Rampart and South Point with a 25-4 record. Arizona came back down to earth after that loss, but they're 24-5. So, we're getting a lot of action on the Pac-12 teams, and we're seeing some other, action on teams like St. Mary's, even though they lost to Gonzaga. And Gonzaga, naturally, they always merit a lot of respect. But it was an exciting weekend, and it's starting to heat up now. Now you're starting to get the feel of March Madness as February ends. The football is all on the side, despite the XFL playing. That's not meriting massive handles. So we rely on the NBA, NHL, and the college hoops now, and they will definitely be, very prominent moving into April.
And next week, Vegas kind of becomes a mini epicenter of college basketball. 4 tournaments in the city next week during a conference championship week.
Yes, whether it's at T-Mobile, whether it's at the Orleans, we have several facilities now. It's not just Thomas and Mack like it used to be in the old days. We have several facilities that could accommodate these conference tournaments, and, the Pac-12 loves it, West Coast like we always had, and several other conferences are now entertaining coming here, to have their conference tournaments.
All right, so give me your thoughts, your top teams. If you wanted to back somebody, favorites or long shots, your choice. A week and a half away from Selection Sunday, who do you really like? Who makes a deep run? Who's a legitimate contender to win this thing?
I think Alabama is definitely a legitimate contender, and I know you guys don't like to hear that there, but Alabama and Tennessee have played really well this year, especially Alabama. I think UCLA as well, they're definitely dangerous. When you have a team that only has 4 losses, they could become very, very dangerous. The Big East has been wide open this year, whether it's Marquette, Creighton. I think Creighton is definitely a dark horse team with 11 losses that could definitely sneak in, make some noise, possibly win the Big East tournament at the Garden. And UConn got off to that hot start, but they're somewhat, I think they leveled out, I'll be honest with you. But I really like the way Alabama has played. West Virginia is getting now some momentum going, 19 in the KenPom, but they have 12 losses, but big win last night. So keep your eye on that team as well. There's so many teams. It's going to be very hard to handicap this year, Charlie. I'll be honest with you. I mean, Houston is very good. They beat Memphis. They're able to sustain and keep going. And 27-2 in the American Conference is just unbelievable right now. and they will be a force to be reckoned with and a number one seed, in my opinion, barring any major catastrophes in this last couple of weeks.
You know, I always like to look at teams I think maybe underseeded for whatever reason, and there's two in the Southeastern Conference that come right up. One of them is Texas A&M. If you just took Texas A&M from Christmas to now, they're probably a top 3 seed, but because you have to bring in that non-conference stuff, and they had some really ugly non-conference losses to teams like Wofford and Murray State, well, they're significantly down because you got to count that. But that stuff happened way back in November and December. This has been, I know they lost Saturday, but this has been a hot basketball team for the last 2 months. They're going to be a 6, a 7 seed, probably something like that. And they've played much, much higher level than that. And the other one is Arkansas, who has played most of the season without Nick Smith, who is a lottery pick next year. And he came back the first 3 games, trying to get his feet back under him. Last 2 games, he scored 50 points. Now, he took a ton of shots on Saturday to get those points. But, Dwayne, you had a lottery pick to what was already a tournament team this late in the season. I think Arkansas probably goes into this thing underseeded a little bit too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Smith returning to the team is a massive, massive acquisition. Definitely keep your eye on this team. You'll see Alabama, Tennessee, possibly A&M ranked ahead of them, but Arkansas is right there, 19-10. Definitely, Ken Palm is not undervaluing them as well. They have them ranked at 15, Charlie. So Arkansas definitely, if they can make some noise coming down the stretch, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And the SEC is just so deep. All these teams that we have recognized and mentioned, we didn't even talk about Kentucky yet. It's just unbelievable. Auburn has 19 wins. They're going to get to the 20 plateau. The SEC is starting to become what they are almost in football. I'll be honest with you, Charlie. And I know you guys in that neck of the woods love it. And although LSU isn't doing all that great this year, they even, ended that Schneid streak. So the SEC is well balanced. Several conferences this year are well balanced, and it's going to be a great tournament. That's why we love it here at the Rampart at South Point. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait.
We were doing some research on first and second year coaches yesterday for the podcast. Let me tell you what we're excited about in Southeastern Conference country about the tournament. It's that the Southeastern Conference is putting teams into the tournament. I was looking back 10 years ago. This is just 10 years ago. Over a 4-year period, the SEC put 13 teams in the tournament. 3 of those 4 years, they put 3 teams apiece in the tournament. You had SEC championship teams that were seeded 8 at that time. And, the league is good in everything except men's basketball. It was Kentucky and maybe one other team every year. And it was like, how come the SEC isn't any good in men's basketball? It's like, why? Because you're not spending any money. You're not hiring good coaches. You're not scheduling good teams in the non-conference. You choose to be like this. They brought in Mike Tranghese. He came in and said, hey, you know what? You guys ought to spend some more money. Hire some better coaches. Schedule some better teams. You'll get better. And obviously that was right because they're going to put 8 teams, I think, in this tournament bracket. So, Dwayne, look, we talk about SEC basketball. It wasn't all that long ago. It was terrible. I mean, across the board, it was pretty much terrible. And now it's one of the better conferences in the country.
Yeah, it's all about exposure and spending money. You know that they should have learned from the football landscape, how prominent that conference is in football and just to carry it over. But definitely some moves that have now given them more exposure, possibly 8 teams, like you said. That would just be phenomenal, a phenomenal leap from past years for the SEC. And total credit. It ain't just the Calipari, conference anymore. You have a lot of teams that can make some noise, and Alabama is definitely proof of that. They're just unbelievable at times. I've watched this team, and I'm very impressed. And like you said, now Arkansas getting Smith back, who's a potential lottery pick. A lot of exposure, and this now conference has come into prominence.
It's so good now that Kentucky wants Calipari fired. That's some of the fans there anyway. Hey, Kaluch, I got to ask you about the futures market with the NBA with the Lakers, because right before the break they make a move. The lineup looks a lot better. D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt's a fit. Malik Beasley's a fit. They look like $1 million for 2 or 3 games. And then LeBron goes down last night. So how much poured in on the futures market on the Lakers when it looked like they had the team together, and now this news that he's going to be out multiple weeks at a minimum here as we approach the end of the regular season.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. It hurt the public that LeBron could possibly be out multiple weeks with that foot injury. Davis looked really fired up the other night, and now you're going to take that all out. And, a lot of people were backing them. You know how it is, Charlie. We were discussing that a couple of weeks ago, how bad they were playing, and they were still getting backing at the Rampart and South Point in the futures market, but now it's a whole different landscape. D'Angelo Russell will have to do a lot more. You're taking LeBron James out of the equation, who is probably, the best basketball player in my era. So now you don't have him there to carry the team. You do have the cancers gone, don't get me wrong. Westbrook wasn't doing much. Patrick Beverley wasn't doing much, but they were definitely a popular attraction in the futures market, and now you're going to see that definitely level out. I mean, I've seen some places that had the minus 350 to make the playoffs, and they still have the play-in. They're a game out of the play-in, I believe. And they're 6-1 at the Rampart and South Point to win the Western Conference. So you could just see all the money that was poured in. I mean, the Clippers 4.5-1, Suns naturally, plus 180 because of the Durant acquisition, but the Lakers are always very, very popular at my shop, and now it's going to be interesting to see how the public perceives this team moving forward. We have to find out the extent of LeBron James's injury, but they did put a lot of players that are good fits into position. So Russell will carry an extra load, like you said. Beasley, Davis will be very prominent. Let's see where it goes, but now it's so difficult when you take a man of LeBron's stature out of this equation and the rotation. So I hope he gets better quickly, because we love the handle on the Lakers, and I think it would have been difficult for them to win the NBA title, but now everybody will back off and definitely be leery moving forward.
You know what? Your generation is my generation. We're roughly the same age. You take LeBron. I'm going to take Jordan.
No, that's fine. It's different eras. I will tell you this, but the durability of LeBron James could never be questioned. I'll tell you that right now. He is the all-time NBA leading scorer. Yes, Jordan took that hiatus with baseball, played a couple of more years of college, but you know how great you are when you make that jump from high school right to the NBA, which LeBron James was able to do. And, you will see how much he is, valued as this team moves forward and struggles a bit.
Six rings. I
understand that.
Mic drop. Six. I'm making a little bit fun because I don't have quite as strong a feel. I'm just kind of messing with you a little bit. But you see people get into this. I mean, hardcore basketball people will go to blows over LeBron versus MJ. I don't have time for that today. I want hockey picks. You guys, we got a big slate in the NHL tonight. Who you like?
Oh, Charlie, we've been a little cold, so we got to get back on the beam. Last night, I wish the show was actually yesterday, because I was all over the Colorado Avalanche against my Vegas Golden Knights.
Text me. I answer your texts.
I know you do. That was definitely a key game, in my opinion. Tonight, the Kraken have come back a little down to earth, but this St. Louis Blues team is in a rebuilding phase now. I'm liking the Kraken. You could see the money showing. They're at minus 150 at the Rampart and South Point, and this is on the road in St. Louis. The Kraken need to start winning games, because L.A. and Vegas are just hovering right over them, and it's definitely this Pacific Division is up for grabs. So I think the Kraken could definitely get the job done. Matt Berniers has just had a fabulous rookie season. They have solid goaltending. They played a roughhouse game against the Bruins in this past week. It was just such phenomenal hockey. Two teams that physically abused each other. It came down to the wire. I think the final was 6-5 Bruins, and that's the best team in the NHL, Charlie. So Seattle, when they play at their top level, could definitely compete. I think this is a very nice spot for the Kraken tonight. This road trip on the Kings has definitely got to be getting them tired. Now they travel to Winnipeg. Winnipeg minus 140 at home. Hopefully Hellebuck will be between the pipes. Kings aren't getting that solid goaltending like they were getting earlier on from Copley. Now they went back to Quick, who had lost 9 games in a row. Then he won 2. I like Winnipeg a little in that spot. Also, I'm looking at the San Jose Montreal over. I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored in that game, even though Samuel Montembeault is really now shining for Montreal. It's hard to believe that without Cole Caulfield, Montreal is 25-30-4. They're playing a team that's 18-30 that is also fire sailing. No Timo Meyer anymore. So I think there's definitely a lot of goals that are going to be scored in this Montreal-San Jose game. And I might even take a little plus on the Canadians. But I really like the Kraken and the Jets tonight.
All right, Colucci, as always, we appreciate it. Take care of South Point and the Rampart. Dwayne Colucci, we always appreciate your time. Have a great week.
Thanks, Charlie. I'll talk to you Thursday, my brother.
Absolutely. Take a break, come back and wrap things up. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time.
You know, our friends over at Infinity of Baton Rouge once again took care of me and the family this weekend as we went to buy yet another vehicle from there. Let me tell you what I like about it. It's a very transparent, easy transaction. You're going to ask them what you're looking for on the pre-owned, the certified pre-owned lot. They'll get it for you. The new car sales, obviously, you're going to have a lot of inventory to choose from there. But when you go to the pre-owned certified lot, you're going to be sure that that vehicle has been through an extensive inspection, so much so that they're going to give you an unlimited mile warranty and a full year prepaid maintenance with it. These vehicles are back up to code. And if you want to sell your vehicle to Infinity of Baton Rouge, it's easy to get a quote. It takes less than 15 minutes. You can trade it in. You can sell it to them outright. There's no pressure. Whatever you decide to do, even if you just want a value on it, it takes less than 15 minutes. Acura Infinity of Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. The Buy Your Car Back program going on right now at Acura Infinity of Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with
Jimmy Otta and Mike Delicano for the Tuesday evening edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson. That's Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I want to read to you a quote from the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, whose name I can't really pronounce, Gutekunst, however you say it. They asked him about who the starting quarterback for the Packers was going to be next year, and his exact quote were, Aaron Rodgers has emerged from the darkness. Hunt Palmer is next. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.